Hello and welcome back to Sam Talks Nerdy. Hope you're happy, doing well, dominating life, crushing it. So I've had this idea for quite a while now. I thought about this idea for a video where I use AI to fancast the X Men for the MCU. And I kind of thought now would be a good time because with all the hype around X Men with X Men 97 and then Marvel now talking to a writer for the MCU X Men movie. So just why not? Also, for some reason, my Blue Yeti is not wanting to work with me for some reason. So sorry about the bad audio. It's just the struggles of YouTubing. Just 1 second your gear is working fine, the next it is refusing to work with you, and I don't know what to do here. I guess I'll just hold this and just in case it starts working randomly because sometimes it does that. But anyways, so for this little experiment, I used two different AI chat generators. I used ChatGPT, a classic, and a new one I learned about called Perplexity. And, well, they both gave some really interesting responses. Well, maybe not interesting, but maybe some, I guess, typical responses. And they also picked a very interesting roster for their X Men, MCU X Men team. So, starting with ChatGPT, the first pick, or the first character, is Professor X, and they chose Giancarlo Esposito, which is a pretty popular fan cast. And I am for it happening, but I don't think it will actually come to fruition in the MCU. And plus, he even said he's had discussions with Marvel for a secret project, and it's for a character that no one has fan casted him in before. Next, for some reason, Magneto. And for this one, they chose to bring back Michael Fassbender. And I am totally on board with Fassbender coming back in the MCU. I think he could easily do it. It could translate well. And just, yeah, I'm game with him coming back. Next is Wolverine, and no surprise, Taron Egerton, though. Some of the reasons behind their castings is not really sound. Like for Taron, they said it's his roles in Kingsman and Rocketman that show he can handle action and bring a fresh, younger take on Wolverine. I mean, I guess. Jean Grey, Sophie Turner. No, absolutely not. For Cyclops, they chose Dacre Montgomery, and apparently they thought he's perfect because of Stranger Things. And heads up, there are a lot of Stranger Things choices in here. Storm, they have Janelle Monáe. Not real familiar with her, but I do think I've heard her name thrown around for Storm in the past. And then they chose David Harbour for Beast, and they cited both Stranger Things and Hellboy for this. And yeah, I like the idea, but he's already playing Red Guardian, so unless Red Guardian dies and Thunderbolt's like he's rumored to, then I guess he could double dip. Just he'd have to be in his blue furry form. Rogue Haley Steinfeld, and they said her versatility and charm is why they picked her. I don't see it. Gambit, Timothy Chalamet, or as I call him, Timothy Champagne. No. The right answer is Austin Butler. And then for Iceman, Joe Keery, again, Stranger Things. And I guess he can do it, but. Then for Nightcrawler, Ben Barnes, and they cited both The Punisher and a show called Shadow and Bone as to why they think he could be the right person for Gambit, or sorry, for Nightcrawler. And I can see it, but with the Netflix show is now canon to the MCU, I don't know. I mean, I guess similar to David Harbour, he could double dip. And lastly, Colossus. And this one they chose Henry Cavill. And yeah, this one I can totally see. And honestly, if Cavill is to play a mutant in the MCU, I see four options: Cyclops, Wolverine, Colossus, or Sinister. And I threw Sinister because of his role in the new Guy Ritchie movie. Next up, Perplexity, and honestly, I kind of like what they did. So I give them the prompt right, and then they kind of showed me the sources that they pulled from. They pulled from some Reddit postings and some articles from various sites, and then they just kind of nitpicked from those, and yeah, some pretty solid choices. Apparently both Perplexity and ChatGPT like Giancarlo Esposito as Professor X and Taron Egerton as Wolverine. So those are the two common castings that they share. But the rest is pretty unique. So for apparently they also they also both chose Magneto for some reason, and and uh, and Perp. Well, I'm just calling Perp. It's easier for me. And Perp chose Viggo Mortensen, which yeah I can see. Cyclops, Glenn Powell, much better choice than Decker and Montgomery. Jean Grey, Evan Rachel Wood. I guess I'm not really real familiar with her. Storm, Jodie Turner Smith. I think she's a popular fan cast. Rogue, Elizabeth Gillis. Gambit, Matt Bomber, and no. Matt Bomber is 46 and Gillis is 30. Not ideal. I think Gambit and Rogue should be closer in age. Beast, Joel Edgerton. Again, another popular fan cast I like. Iceman, Brendan Flynn. Not really familiar with him. And yeah. So I think both engines did a okay job at picking. I mean, like I said, some castings are winners, like Giancarlo Esposito as Professor X, Taron Egerton as Wolverine, Glenn Powell as Cyclops, Cavill as Colossus, and then some not so good choices like Matt Bomber as Gambit. I don't see that. Like maybe if he was younger, or even Timothy Chalamet as Gambit. Like what the hell? And just these aren't like my choices for the MCU X Men. Like this is just a fun little experiment I wanted to do. Just gonna put that out there. Like these are not my choices. They do not represent my choices. I'm not being lazy or all that because AI is just it's in a weird spot these days. But anyways, that'll be it for this episode of Sam Talks Nerdy. Thank you for watching or listening to this via my podcast. If you are listening to this via my podcast, make sure to follow me on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Make sure to leave me a 5-star rating and a good review where you can. And if you're watching me on YouTube, make sure to do the usual stuff of like, comment, and subscribe. And again, I'm sorry about the terrible audio. It's just, this was working the other day, and then I tried to record this like Thursday, but then this wasn't working, so I thought, let me just give it a break and see what happens when I give it like a day to rest, and it just didn't work. So I don't know, for any of my Blue Yeti users out there, what's going on? I mean, it's plugged into my iPhone, have a little adapter to it, so I guess maybe my iPhone's not picking it up. I do need, I'm planning to get a new camera here in the future, but just iPhone for right now. So anyways, thanks for watching. Take it easy.